This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. Today, we have a doubleheader for the next half an hour. We will talk about the Sprout Film Festival coming to Jamestown September 23rd, and then the day after, the 7th Annual Step Up for Autism celebration. Joining me on Share the Vision today, Kevin Anderson, Assistant Director of Employment and Community-Based Services at the Resource Center, Beth Germain, Support Option Administrator, Vicki Bardo, Development and Events Manager, or should I more properly say, Victoria Trass Bardo, Development and Events Manager at the Resource Center, and Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director. Steve, thank you for organizing this great show for us today on Share the Vision.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Well, fine. And it's always a great time of year when these events just start happening one right after the other for the Resource Center.
Well, we like to think they're great events. That's why we do them. But yeah, we've got them two big events coming up the weekend of September 23rd and 24th. So we want to let everybody know about the Sprout Film Festival and our Step Up for Autism celebration.
Let us start with the Sprout Film Festival, the first in the sequence of events, and Kevin Anderson, Assistant Director of Employment and Community-Based Services. Kevin, welcome back to Share the Vision.
Thanks, Dennis. Good to see you.
This is the second year for Sprout in Jamestown.
Yes, it is. We are very excited to be bringing Sprout back to Jamestown. For those who attended Sprout last year, it's a little bit of a different lineup and a little different format than what we did. But Friday, September 23rd at 7:30, we'll be featuring the Sprout Film Festival. We have 9 films selected this year. I think the selection is very poignant for some things that are going on at the Resource Center right now. And it also kind of ties into the political campaigns that are currently going on as well.
How interesting. But first, let's lay the groundwork in a couple of ways. The time and the place for the Sprout Film Festival on the 23rd of September.
We will be at the Reg Linné Center for the Arts again this year. It will be, again, as we stated, Friday, September 23rd, and we'll be starting at 7:30.
And what is the cost? How much does it cost to attend this festival?
We are very excited to be able to offer this free this year to the public, thanks to the generous support of the TRC Foundation. So it's a free evening of great entertainment, watching 9 great films.
What is the essence of the Sprout Film Festival? I am led to understand, remembering from our program last year, that while this is just the second year in Jamestown, Sprout has a longer history than that. Give us a little of the background.
Sprout was originally started in New York City, and it was started with entertaining and memorable short films featuring people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And Anthony DeSalvo, who was the founder of Sprout, started to do a traveling film festival. And so I believe it's in its 14th year. And we started last year with it. Anthony was with us last year. He will not be with us this year, but we think we still have a great lineup for this year's festival.
Now let's get into some of the films this year, because you have tantalized us, teased us a little bit here, Kevin, about speaking about the films in reference to some things happening at the Resource Center these days, and also to the political campaign. So one at a time, what films will be coming? How are they relevant to things that are happening here at the Resource Center?
A lot of the film selections this year, 8 of them, really center around people who are living life on their own terms and developing and doing their own thing, which I think really ties in with our recent accreditation for becoming a CQL accredited agency, which Beth is highly involved in and can probably speak a little bit more to that.
Beth, welcome to the show. Let me mention again that you are a support option administrator here at the Resource Center. And we did a program not long ago about CQL, and I understand you were very much involved in the planning for that.
Yes, I was.
What is CQL? Remind us again what the initials stand for.
Council on Quality and Leadership.
And what does the CQL accreditation mean to you personally, to the Resource Center as an organization?
It means that we support people with disabilities with a lot of quality, basically.
Tie this together for me, then, in terms of CQL, these films that are coming as part of the Sprout Film Festival, of people living lives on their own terms.
The basic premises of CQL is supporting people and treating people with disabilities as people and as citizens, and really encouraging and facilitating their aspirations. The films, several of them, talk about people's finding and discovering their personal passions and their journey to achieve those successes in those areas.
The CQL accreditation, these films that you're talking about, all speak to a movement, a trend here at the Resource Center and perhaps in other institutions that serve persons with disabilities across New York State and the country. You may know better on that last point than I, to have people live independent lives with the highest quality of life that would mirror that other people would have, such as you and I, in terms of our ability to do the things that we want, to try to achieve the things that we want. Am I on the right page?
Exactly. No, absolutely. People living their life on their own terms, regardless of maybe risks that might be involved, regardless of other people's perceptions of people's capacities or their lack of. They kind of drive home the whole living your life as you choose to live and the decisions that you're making, and in choosing to take some risk if you do that, if you'd like to do that.
You, Kevin, either one, both of you, then talk to me about one or two of the films that will speak to this issue directly.
I think that two of the films that really stand out in my mind, I think one that's going to be a favorite by everyone who attends is Ingrid's Big Jump. It's about a woman who lives in Australia. She's diagnosed with Down syndrome, and her passion and what she really wants to do is go hang gliding. And it's kind of her journey in preparing to go hang gliding, and then the day that she actually does it and she achieves her dream. It's a great, warm, moving film that I think will make people smile, maybe cry a little bit as well. And then the other one I think is Winston's Ghost, the photography of Ryan Gustman. And Ryan is a young man who lives in, I believe in Cleveland, but I could be wrong on the city. And his passion is going around and taking photos in abandoned buildings and kind of capturing things that are lost and things that were once beautiful and still are beautiful, but other people don't view them that way. And the way that he grew from just going and taking some photos to his photography is absolutely gorgeous. And just it's not safe what he does. It's not
legal.
But he's learned while he's gone through it, and he is doing things on his own terms, and it's really kind of cool to watch his growth and to see his art.
You bring me to an interesting point in the discussion here, and one that I wanted to have both of you speak to, and that is this. These films are short and created in a way so that even if you are not a person with disabilities or don't have a person with disabilities in your family or are not connected to the Resource Center, these are deeply human stories that would appeal to anybody?
Absolutely. I think the big thing that came out of last year's Sprout Film Festival was people from the community that joined us that evening and were truly moved by the end of the evening. And I think it made a huge impact on their perceptions of people with disabilities and a little bit about what we do.
The way I've thought about it since the first Sprout Film Festival is like this, that we all enjoy films on television of people skiing down a slalom, for example. Most of us aren't going to do that, but we can still identify with something in that experience in our own humanity. We may not face the challenges of some of the people who are featured in the movies of the Sprout Film Festival, but we can still make the same connection?
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that every one of the films you can relate to in some way. Another one of the films that's really kind of fun is Bumblebees. And it's about a young gentleman, and despite his being told as a child that he would never speak or walk, the gentleman's name is Vance, accomplished what doctors thought was impossible. And in his next step in life is dating. And it's just kind of a really cute film about him making that next step and being prepared for his first date and what it is. So they're fun stuff.
Sprout Film Festival, 7:30 p.m., Friday, September 23rd at the Reg Lene Center for the Arts, thanks to the TRC Foundation and their grant, free admission for everybody. Kevin, in the opening comment, you made reference to something regarding the political season as well. I don't want our time to completely elapse before I give you the opportunity to address whatever you were talking about when you said that.
There is a great film that we selected this year. It actually was produced in 2005, and it's called How's Your News on the Campaign Trail. And it is 6 different people with varying disabilities who decided that they wanted to cover the national conventions during the 2004 race. So there's some people that are currently running that are featured in this film as well. And it's just a great, fun film that I think is appropriate for this season that we're in with current political races that are going on.
Anything else that either of you would like to say about the Sprout Film Festival? Any of the movies? I don't want to leave the subject without having you talk about all the aspects of it that you would like to.
I think that one of the things that is definitely different this year that was not in last year's festival, for those who attended last year's festival, Anthony had made a challenge to the Jamestown community to make some films. And 7 individuals who are associated with the Resource Center were inspired by last year's festival, and they kind of stepped up to the challenge, and they produced their own film. It's called The Talent. And while it's not technically part of the film festival, we will be showcasing that at the beginning of this year's festival to recognize the efforts that they made in putting together this film. So,
have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Give us a little bit of the flavor of this local film.
The result of what they did was they called it The Talent, and it's film about the importance of first impressions. I kind of saw some other stuff in it, too, about a little carpe diem, a little bit about living for the weekend. So it's really about a talent agency office that is waiting for, I guess it's another talent to come in and kind of putting that all together. And it's really a delightful little film that will make you feel happy and feel good about what they've done. Do
you want to mention any of the local stars of this, or should we leave that for the festival?
We could go through that. I'm sure that they would be honored. The people that are in the film are Kay and Kim Davis, Walter Gabalski, Bill Paul, Rob Paul, Regis Pratt. Actually, Regis's sister, Shelley Pratt, was also instrumental in putting this together and did all of the filming. Diane Cornell is in it, Roseanne Bertram is in it, and Tristan Wassman is in it as well.
Just remember, you heard those names here first on Share the Vision, folks. Hollywood could be next. Before I get too facetious, Beth Germain, anything else you want to add about the Sprout Film Festival this year?
I just think that people will really enjoy themselves, and if you make the effort to come out, you will be pleased that you did. It's really a great time. And the festival lasts about 2 hours, so we'll probably show the last film should be ending about 9:30 p.m.
7:30 is when it starts. Reg Lene Center for the Arts, free to the public, Friday, September 23rd. Step Up for Autism is the next day. I'm going to have Steve Watterson help me with the transition as we get ready for Vicki Bardo.
How do you want me to transition, Dennis?
Well, a little background perhaps on Step Up for Autism and this entire event. We are going to introduce the second of the doubleheader of the weekend.
Well, this is our 7th annual. We hold it at the Resource Center's administrative offices down at the old Celeron School on Dunham Avenue, and it's an opportunity for the community to come out and show their support for individuals who are on the autism spectrum and their families, and it's a day of fun activities.
Vicki Bardo is the Development and Events Manager for Filling the Gap, associated with the Resource Center. Vicki, welcome back to the show. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Dennis.
You have the schedule of the events, a page full of events for Step Up for Autism in front of you. You can go through the entire schedule or hit the highlights as you want to.
Certainly. Our annual event started 7 years ago, and it was the brainchild of some family members who thought that they'd like to do something to raise some funds for local initiatives for their children who are on the spectrum of autism. And it kind of grew and grew, and we've added quite a few folks to the planning committee, and we're able to bring quite a wonderful event to our little place we call home over at Dunham Avenue in Celeron.
So what's the principal or some of the principal events and the timetable?
Well, what we're going to do, basically it's a walk, and it also includes a lot of interactive activities for children, and we also have some other educational things coming. We have Sparky, the fire dog, I guess that's what he is, and we also have the fire truck coming from Celeron and the ambulance, so kids can get familiar and see them up close and not be so frightened if they are to hear them or see them, whizzing down the street. We are having also, the fun things. We have a bounce house coming and face painting and We're going to have a wonderful hot dog lunch. And this, of course, it's all free to the community. If you are going to walk, we ask that everybody register the day of the walk if you have not done so already. And it's $20, and you will be receiving a beautiful shirt. The logo was created by a local young lady named Bria Toda, who is a student at Southwestern School. This all starts at 8:30 with registration. Another thing, Dennis, that we're going to be doing is fingerprinting and ID for children and for folks with disabilities.
Now, just help the audience understand, Vicki, you don't have to pay to attend these events, but you'd appreciate it if they would register for the walk, and the $20 is very important to you as part of the fundraising aspect of this.
And, you get to donate your $20 and join in the walk. And if you want to bring folks along with you that don't necessarily have the money, they're more than welcome to walk along with us. It's a 1.5-mile walk down to the lake and back up, but we're not going to turn anyone away. However, if you want a T-shirt, please register. That's what we're asking.
And the fundraising aspect of this, and you and or Steve can speak to this, you do like to generate some money because it's important for a cause. What cause is served by Step Up for Autism Walk?
Well, we have a social group, for lack of a better word, and Steve can hop in here anytime, a social group for folks with autism, and they are addressing social skill behavior. And a lot of the folks, before, the parents would have to go to Erie to access such a program or group. So now we're able to host it locally.
Yeah, it's called our Success Program, and don't ask me what those initials stand for. I'm not going to be able to spout them off. But it is for children and young adults on the autism spectrum to gain some assistance in learning social skills so they can better get along and interact with others.
Well, I'm only hopeful that Saturday, September 24th, the forecast will be sunny and comfortable with a high about 70 degrees, no clouds in the sky, light breeze, because then walking from Dunham to the lake will be beautiful, and coming back even more so, and you'll have a great opportunity for all your outdoor activities. Two aspects of this that I want to make sure we get covered in the time that remains, and one is that there's an additional event that you'll be doing this year, which you can do this year, particularly if you have a motorcycle.
That's right. This is our second annual Loop the Lake Dice Run, which begins at 9:30. Check-in is at 8:30 over at Dunham. And what we're going to do is you ride around the lake and you stop at different stops, roll the dice. There will be prizes awarded in different categories. And we're asking that the motorcycles park out front. We're going to take off from out front of the building is to avoid the big roar and kind of loud noises that might disturb some of the folks who are out back just milling about. Once they come back, they're going to be treated to, again, our wonderful hot dog lunch. And also, Dennis, the two big things that are so much fun. One is the Chinese auction, which we have fabulous gifts donated from departments within the Resource Center, from community people, from our business partners. So there are maybe 60 different prizes that you can purchase tickets and try to win. The other fun thing this is the greatest thing ever. It's our sweets auction. And what we do is we ask local bakeries to bake a cake or one of their sweet perfections, and we auction them off. And whoever raises the most money, it's bragging rights. But this year we have Steve Watterson and we have Mark Goshgarian. And they're both very entertaining to watch as they try to raise money and sell out these sweets.
Oh, so they're the auctioneers.
They're the auctioneers.
All these years I've known you, Steve. I never knew you had that.
I'm not that good at it. We had Paul Hoffler last year. He was good at it. He raised a lot of money. But we know it's a fun event. The bidding does get hectic and competitive. There are usually a few cakes that are, all the cakes are nice, but there's some that are really outstandingly decorated, if outstandingly is a word. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a nice capper to the day's events.
Can we put a specific time on that cake auction?
Noon?
I think noon is a good time. We're going to be a little flexible. Of course, we want to make sure that the bikers are back so that they can partake in the cake auction. So I would say between 11:45 and noon, we'll start the the bidding, and it will be fast and furious.
Again, this is Saturday, September 24th. If you're just picking up on what's happening here, we're talking about the 7th Annual Step Up for Autism celebration. There's a walk, a lot of other things, including the sweets auction that will happen sometime in that 11:45 to noon time period. Again, making the best use of our time, Applebee's is also helping, again, with this particular resource center event. In what way?
This coming Wednesday, the 14th, the Applebee's, both of them, the one in Lakewood and the one up in Dunkirk, will be having one of their Dining to Donate events, and people can come in anytime that day. And if they have the special Dining to Donate voucher with them, Applebee's will donate 10% of the cost of the person's meal to Step Up for Autism. That doesn't mean you get 10% off your meal, but the Applebee's will donate 10% of what you pay back to us. You have to have a voucher, and you can get a voucher by calling Vicki.
You can call me at 661-1477, and we'll make sure that you get 1 or 2 or 10.
Yeah.
And that's good only for the day, but all day on Wednesday, September 14th.
Right. You can, as we were talking the other day, you can have lunch, dinner, and a nightcap there, and just spend the day at Applebee's and raise lots of money for Step Up for Autism.
And this, again, is an event. We were talking about the Sprout Film Festival earlier in the program. This is an event that the entire community is invited to. You don't have to have a relative or friend or neighbor who's on the autism spectrum to participate in this event. And it sounds like, from the way that you are describing it, both Vicki and Steve, that it has a kind of uplifting feel to it and engaging for the entire community and families and anybody who wants to come.
It really does. And I think it's real meaningful also to the families of folks with a child who has autism. We have a lot of family support, and I hate to mention any names, but they raise a heck of a lot of money and a lot of support. They bring a lot of people with them, and they take that under their wing as like a little challenge to their family members to raise money for the Success program.
And you do use CrowdWise. You can get on that website and actually generate your own fundraising page there, so that even people who aren't participating, but if you can be persuasive in getting them to contribute to your effort, to your walk that day, you can raise even more money?
Absolutely, yep. And Vicki alluded, we do have a couple of families who are very good at raising money online through their family and friends, and both of them have a family member who went through the Success program and saw some great results from it and believe very strongly in the program and what the Resource Center has done for their loved one. And they want to help support us and give back. And they're there every year. And we hope to have lots of other people come out and join us again for the 2016 version.
And this sounds like, the Success program sounds like one in which a little bit of money goes a long way in terms of being able to create opportunities for persons on the autism spectrum to have experiences, to do things together, to participate in activities that they otherwise would not have the opportunity to do at all.
That was very well put, Dennis.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should add about the 7th Annual Step Up for Autism celebration, September 24th? Have we left anything out, Vicki?
I think we've covered the basics, but again, just to reiterate, please come out and support the Step Up for Autism event. It's a fun-filled morning, and it's over by 1 o'clock, so it's not anything that you need to commit all day to. Again, there are the sensory games that are going to be available to children that are going to be provided by the JCC OT students. And we also have the fingerprinting, which I think is very, very important. And also the fun things, the bounce house and the face painting. And we have the parachute game, and then the walk down to the lake. And then we'll be joined by Sparky, and the fire department will be bringing up equipment. And then we move right into the return of the bikers, the cake auction, the Chinese auction. Raffle winners will be drawn, and it's a lovely, lovely day.
Now, you also have your own website.
We do. It's www.stepupforautism.com.
I'm going to come back to you and maybe Steve too in a minute for a quick summary, but we started this program talking about the Sprout Film Festival, and I just want to give you, Kevin or Beth, the opportunity to speak briefly to it one more time, just to concisely tell our audience, if they didn't hear that part of the show, what is happening the night before Step Up for Autism at the Reg Lene Center for the Arts.
Yes, Dennis. Again, on Friday, September 23rd at 7:30, we have selected 9 films for this year's Sprout Film Festival, which are entertaining and memorable short films featuring people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. it's a great way to get in the mood to come out and join us for Step Up for Autism the next day.
And the event is free this year, thanks to the TRC Foundation.
That is correct.
Anything further you wanted to say about this at all, Beth?
Just come out and enjoy yourself. Those are two great events.
And we spent the second half of our program talking about Step Up for Autism, and this is kind of the Friday-Saturday doubleheader between the 23rd and the 24th here at the Resource Center. That will be beginning at 8:30 a.m. for the check-in. The walk starts about 10:30, and events will continue until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the 24th. This is an event that they would encourage you radio listeners to register for $20 per person or raise even more money through the crowdwise.com/2016 Step Up for Autism website, because this does benefit the Success Program at the Resource Center. Steve, I didn't mean to do that entire summary of Step Up for Autism myself. I hope I did it okay.
You did a great job, Dennis, as always.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else new at the Resource Center or upcoming at the Resource Center that we ought to share with our audience while we have a minute at the conclusion?
Well, there's always things going on, but just a reminder to those who don't know, because we're always finding people who are unaware of the fact that the Resource Center's health services are open to anybody. You don't have to have a disability to utilize those services. We have our primary care clinic down on East 2nd Street in Jamestown, and they were talking the other day about how there are some providers that are going out of business in the local area, and the Resource Center is there to easily transfer your medical records over to our facility if you're interested. So give the Resource Center a call and we can tell you some more information.
Providers going out of business always strikes fear. I don't know what providers you're talking about, but strikes fear into everybody in the community because of the challenge that can sometimes offer. So I'm glad to hear that you are working to make that transition, if it should be, to the TRC Healthcare Center gentle.
Yes.
And there is the Disability Awareness Awards program that is coming very soon, too. I just want to highlight that for 1 second.
That's right. Please mark your calendar for Wednesday, October 26th. The 28th Annual Disability Awards celebration will be held at Webb's Captain's Table and Resort. We have a lot of information on our website, and also you can call me at any time, 661-1477. We will have published next week our list of recipients. So it's going to be always an exciting event. Great stories will be told, and it's a great evening.
October 26th?
Correct.
New location this year at Webb's in Mayville.
Correct.
We are done. Out of time. Today on Share the Vision, we've been talking about the Sprout Film Festival on the 23rd of September and Step Up for Autism on the 24th. Joining me on the show, Beth Germain, Vicki Bardo, Kevin Anderson, and, of course, Steve Watterson. Thank you all for sharing the vision today.